Amazon Prime Day is here, so I sifted through the hundreds of thousands of items that are on sale to help you find deals on the very best beauty products so that you don't have to waste hours of your life like I did. Like truly hours, I'm not even being dramatic. I think when I exported the file that had all of the deals, it was over 300,000 items. So here are my top picks. To make this video as easy to follow as possible, I have categorized all of the items into broader beauty categories. So we'll start off with skin, move on to body care, then makeup, then hair care. And then within each of those categories, I have further broken it down by subcategory as well. So for example, for skin, we're gonna have things like makeup remover, moisturizer, eye cream, sunscreen. And then we'll follow that exact same process for body, makeup, and hair. So starting off with skincare, our first subcategory is makeup remover. So the three products that I'm recommending for this subcategory are actually the exact same three products that I just recommended in my best of drugstore skincare video. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll list it in my description box below, but this is the perfect follow-up to that. It's like, those are my recommendations, now they're on sale. So first is a micellar water. It is the Garnier micellar water. This is my all-time favorite micellar water. I just absolutely love the fact that it works so well, is easy to use for makeup removal, and does not feel greasy at all. And both of my favorite formulas, the pink cap and the blue cap, are on sale as well. The blue cap is a bit more effective for eye makeup and mascara removal, whereas the pink cap is a little bit less slippy and just has more of like the consistency of water. I mean, they both do, but if you have used both, you'll know what I'm talking about. The blue just has a little bit of a slip that the pink does not. Next is also from Garnier. It is the Skin Active Erase It All Makeup Cleansing Balm. This has a really soft, creamy texture that just feels super nice to apply. It's not heavy, it's not waxy, it's not greasy, and I've always been really impressed by how much product you get for the price, even when this isn't on sale. So it's normally about $11.99 for 4.2 ounces of product. And for comparison, the e.l.f. cleansing balm normally retails for $11 for 2 ounces or $19 for 3.5. Another is the CeraVe cleansing balm, which costs $9.99 for 1.3 ounces. So this is already a better deal than a lot of comparable drugstore cleansing balms, but now you can get even more bang for your buck. We love that. And last for makeup removal is the Neutrogena body oil, which I am fully aware is not meant to be a makeup remover or a cleansing oil. I feel like some people were a bit confused when I recommended this for that reason in my drugstore skincare video. Trust me, I'm fully aware that that was not the intended purpose of this product, but it's something that I decided to test out in that way several years ago after my mom recommended it for that purpose. And ever since then, I have yet to find another drugstore oil that removes makeup as easily as this does for me, so that's why I continue to repurchase and recommend it for that reason. I have always used the fragrance-free formula, but they also have a scented version that's on sale as well. Moving on to moisturizer, I have a couple options from Cetaphil to recommend that I think are so good and so underrated. I was actually very close to including one of them in my best drugstore skincare video, but when I had to really think about my top three, I was like, okay, I don't think it's quite top three, for sure top five. And two of my favorite moisturizers from them are part of this sale. So first is the Deep Hydration Healthy Glow Cream, which is the lighter weight option of the two and something that I have always felt is just elevated for the drugstore. Like if you put this in expensive packaging, I'd be 100% convinced that it's a high-end moisturizer. It's soft, it's silky, to me it just feels luxe. And second is their Redness Relief Night Cream. This one is a little bit thicker and creamier, but it's not something that feels heavy. It still just has such a nice texture that feels incredibly nourishing and moisturizing. Moving on to Bioma, first is their Moisturizing Gel Cream, which is the most lightweight moisturizer out of all of those that I'm going to be recommending. Definitely more lightweight than Cetaphil. It has that true gel cream texture that starts to go a little bit serumy as you apply it. It's really nice. Definitely something that is great for those with oily skin who want a lighter option. And their Balancing Facial Mist is also on sale. Technically not a moisturizer, but I don't have any other mist to include in this video, so I'll mention it here. That has been my favorite facial mist for years. It's just super hydrating, refreshing, lightweight, has the most perfect, even continuous mist. I absolutely love that stuff. I'll be mentioning Bioma one more time in this video, or two more times for the next category, but there were a ton of Bioma products that were listed as part of the sale. I feel like almost every single product they have. So if there are products from Bioma that you absolutely love, definitely just go check out their brand page because chances are it'll be on sale. Next up is the Beauty of Joseon Dynasty Cream, which is actually something I discovered during Prime Day last year, and I'm really glad that I did because it has a beautiful texture. I would also kind of describe this as a gel cream, but it's not as light and serumy as Bioma. Instead, I would say it's a little bit thicker, more moisturizing, but super silky, still very light. It's very cosmetically elegant and highly rated for a reason. And last is the CeraVe Healing Ointment, which is my #1 favorite product for barrier repair purposes of all time. It is so impressive, works so well for me. If I have any sign of barrier damage, redness, irritation, flaking, you name it, that's getting slathered on my face. For eye cream, I have 3 different recommendations, 2 of which are from Bioma, and we're also in my drugstore skincare video. I love how it works out like that. So the more lightweight of the 2 is the Deep Puff and Brighten Eye Gel. It has a great gel texture and is perfect for daytime. Second is their Barrier Repair Eye Cream, which I have been absolutely loving for night. It's rich, it's creamy, it's moisturizing, but it's not too heavy. And the third eye cream is the CosRx Snail Mucin Peptide Eye Cream, which has been a favorite of mine for years. I haven't repurchased it in a little bit, but I absolutely will at some point again because it's so nice. If you are familiar with their Snail Mucin Moisturizing Cream, which is very snail mucin-y and slimy, this one is a little bit less like that and a little bit more creamy. It's just one of those eye creams that I've always enjoyed applying. The texture feels very moisturizing and soft. It makes my eye area look really hydrated. It's just super solid all around. And the last subcategory for facial skincare is sunscreen. My first recommendation is the Neutrogena Invisible Daily Defense Sunscreen with SPF 60, which could have been included in my drugstore skincare video because this is nearly identical, if not identical, to the Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Face Serum Sunscreen that also has SPF 60. I remember testing both of these out a few summers ago. I think that they maybe launched like around the same time, and I was thinking that they were going to have very different textures, maybe a different finish, but they feel and look the same on my skin. So they both have a soft, hydrating, lightweight lotion texture that's not greasy at all, which is definitely my biggest issue with affordable sunscreens, and a truly natural finish. My second sunscreen recommendation is also from Neutrogena. It is their Pure Screen Tinted Sunscreen. This has sheer coverage and is available in 4 shades. I have tried 2 of them, and what I've always really appreciated about those 2 shades, which by the way I think are light and medium, is that they don't pull orange like so many other tinted sunscreens, so they have a truly neutral undertone. And last for sunscreen, I wanted to just highlight Color Science because similar to Bioma, I feel like most of the products that they have through Amazon are on sale. And while their sunscreens are no longer my personal top tier favorites, I know that they still are for a lot of you, and I totally get that. They were my absolute favorites for a really long time. But then just as time went on and we had more launches in this category, I feel like I just fell in love with other things that were a bit lighter weight, a bit more elevated in terms of texture. So I'm not going to be purchasing any of these except for their SPF Lip Shine. That is part of the sale as well, and that's my all-time favorite SPF lip product. So, well, now that I say that, I'm like, there have been a lot of new SPF lip launches that I need to try. Like, do I do another SPF lip showdown? I can't get into that. I'll circle back on that when I've recovered from my lip oil showdown. But anyway, so I've always loved that lip SPF from Color Science, and then basically all of their sunscreen formulas: Original, Flex, Matte, Glow, Bronze, their Total Eye 3-in-1. All of those were listed as part of the sale. And again, because I know so many of you really, really love them, I wanted to just mention that. Did you want to come over here and give mommy a hug? Yeah, I love you so much. Oh. That's Quincy. It's really hard for me to pick both of you up. Hey, bud. Last for skincare is the lip category, and 3 of my all-time favorite lip products are on sale. First is the Laneige Lip Balm. Freaking love this stuff. It's just so melty and delicious. Second is their lip mask. You guys know I really love that too. Also melty and creamy, but thicker than the lip balm. And last, Vaseline Lip Therapy. My all-time favorite, #1 holy grail, just can't be beat. Moving on to the body care category. First up, we have body washes, and my favorite Dove body wash is on sale. It is their Deep Moisture Body Wash, which I personally absolutely die for, in their coconut and cocoa butter scent, but they have a ton of other options, and all of those were listed as well. 2 more of my favorites are also on sale, but they're higher end options. First is the Philosophy Fresh Cream Shower Gel, which is just gourmand deliciousness. I just used that yesterday. In addition to the Sol de Janeiro Brazilian Play Body Wash, which is going to be for you if you like a bit more of a tropical scent. That one is like tropical and gourmand combined, which is one of the reasons I love it so much. It smells so freaking good. Like, there's just nothing like that smell. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that because there are a lot of brands that are trying to dupe it, but for the original. They nailed it. For body lotions, both the Philosophy Fresh Cream Body Lotion and Sol de Janeiro Boom Boom Cream are on sale. I not only highly recommend both for the smell, but also the actual texture and moisturizing properties as well. They're just beautiful body lotions. But if you would like some more affordable options, what I would first recommend is the Vaseline Pro Vita B3 Serum Burst Lotions. This is on sale in the 2-pack where you get both the Luminous Glow and Supple and Soft formulas, and these are just the absolute best for summertime. They are truly serum-like lotions that at first I thought were not going to be moisturizing enough for me because of how incredibly weightless they are, but somehow they work for summer. They just have this amazing like velvety smooth serum texture that I seriously love so much. So would highly recommend those if you do not like a thicker, heavier body lotion in the summertime. But if that's not your thing and you do prefer a thicker, richer, creamier formula, then may I recommend the Cetaphil Moisturizing Cream. The only thing to note about this one is that it is fragrance free. So if that's a deal breaker for you, then this won't be for you. But if you're okay with that, maybe you prefer it, or you, like me, kind of enjoy spraying some sort of fragrance mist and a fragrance-free body cream, then you have to try this. It is so good. And the last option that I wanted to highlight, not for like everyday use, I mean, you could absolutely use it that way. It's not my personal favorite for that. What I do love it for is self-tan drops, and that is the CeraVe Daily Moisturizing Lotion. The type of lotion or cream that you use with self-tan drops is so important. It can completely make or break the result you get. I have tried so many options that leave me splotchy, just like honestly looking like a mess. And I have found that I get amazing results with the CeraVe Daily Moisturizing Lotion every single time. Moving on to body sunscreen, one of my all-time favorites from the drugstore is on sale in a twin pack. It is the Hawaiian Tropic Sheer Touch Sunscreen with SPF 50. This smells so good. Just the best tropical scent ever. It's super nostalgic and it's very moisturizing without being heavy or greasy. So just a really solid option from the drugstore, or from Amazon in this case. And last for body, I just have like miscellaneous body care favorites. So the first is Tanologist. They have a ton of their self tanners on sale, their drops, their mousse, their mist, their waters. I have tried all of them and I think that they make really great self tan products. Yeah, that's definitely my favorite drugstore self-tan brand. I was like trying to think if there was anything else I was missing, but it's definitely the best one. It's great. And that's coming from a girl who has tested over 50 self-tanners. Yes. Next is the Thayer's Witch Hazel Toner, which you guys may or may not know. I personally love to use underneath my arms to refresh, especially in the summer. It's just a really good way to kind of like reset, reapply deodorant, just kind of neutralize any odor. Next is C&D Solar Oil, which is a favorite cuticle oil of mine. I have been through a journey with my nails that I can't even get into in this video, but some of the scariest nail plate lifting or separation from my nail bed that I have ever had, again, from a nail repair product. That's the only other time that's happened to me from OPI repair mode. This was a different one, and it has taken me months to recover from that. I'm finally almost fully grown out, but the cuticle oil has been an essential step for me in that process. And last, I have to call this out just in case any of you are new here and have not heard me talk about the Venus 5-blade razor. This is the best razor of all time. I will never use another razor unless they come out with something even better, but like, this is it. It just gives me the best shave ever. I can't use anything else. Moving on to makeup. First up, we have Complexion products, and tons of Milk makeup products are on sale. I was actually surprised to see that. I'm like, I don't remember them ever being on sale for Prime Day before, but obviously I have to highlight my absolute favorite Hydro Grip Primer. I seriously love this stuff. I have tried a lot of grippy primers, and what I really enjoy about this one is that number one, it feels nice to apply. It's not something that feels too stiff or overly sticky. And it also just settles down onto my skin naturally without making it look oilier or matte or anything like that. So it's just a really good, like, neutral, I guess, option to mix with any complexion products that you don't want to alter the finish of. Their Hydro Grip setting spray is on sale too. And so were like all of my favorite drugstore complexion products. So the L'Oreal Lumi Glow Skin Tint, which I actually don't like by itself. I think that it doesn't feel the best, it doesn't apply the best, and it's way too radiant, but it's beautiful to mix directly in with other complexion products to just add like a soft lit from within glow. So that I would highly recommend for that reason, and that reason only, not by itself. Both the L'Oreal Hyaluronic Tinted Serum and the Maybelline Superstay Skin Tints are on sale. Those are like my top two. They battle for my favorite drugstore complexion product. I really go back and forth depending on what I'm in the mood for, because I would say the L'Oreal one is just not quite as glowy and like keeps me looking more natural and finish all day, whereas Maybelline gives me a bit more of a glow boost and a tiny bit more coverage actually. I used to think that they had the exact same amount of coverage, but over the past couple of years, I felt like, you know what, I feel like I can get Maybelline to build a tiny bit more, but not full coverage by any means. Neither of these are those kinds of products. And one of my newest favorites from the drugstore is the Maybelline Superstay Lumi Matte Foundation. This is one that I really had to kind of play around with and work with a bit, because if I don't use a mattifying primer underneath it, it does get a bit too oily on me as the day goes on, which you would probably love if you have dry or dehydrated skin. For me, as someone with oily skin, I just felt like it was a little bit too much, so I thought I was going to have to give up on it until I tried it with the e.l.f. Power Grip Matte Primer, and then I was like, oh, those two were like a match made in heaven for oily skin. It held up beautifully. I didn't look greasy. I just had like a perfect, slight, subtle glow. And that one definitely does have a little bit more coverage than the skin tints from L'Oreal and Maybelline. So if you're looking for a bit more coverage without it still being too full or too makeup-y, that's a beautiful option. And last is a powder that is also another newer favorite of mine. It is the L'Oreal Infallible Blurfection Powder, which is just a dream for oily skin. If you're someone that feels like almost everything ends up looking too oily on you, you get really greasy as the day goes on, this is going to be your best friend. I do actually find this to have a bit of a blurring effect, which I feel like a lot of powders are trying to claim these days, and then I'll try them on and I'm like, what? This is like emphasizing my texture, but this one does blur and it keeps me matte all day without looking powdery or makeup-y. For bronzer, blush, and highlight, I have one of each to recommend, and the first is the Maybelline Lifter Sticks, which I tested out, I think this winter, and I haven't revisited it since because I felt like it was kind of giving me some texture on my cheeks, clogging my pores a little bit, but it was such a nice product that I still wanted to bring it up because I know not all of you are acne prone. Like, some of you can use whatever and you will never break out a day in your life, and I'm like, I'm so jealous. So if you're not acne prone, you don't really get texture from new makeup products, then this is so good. It had like a soft natural matte finish. It lasted all day long, perfect amount of pigment, so easy to blend. I was really impressed with everything about it, so that's why that was a huge bummer for me. I will try that out again, by the way. The blush I wanted to recommend is the NYX Buttermelt Blush. This one is a bit hit or miss. I feel like you have to just find your right shade and finish, because I've tried some that are just too intense, look too shimmery on my cheeks, I don't love. But then others, like, I'm spacing, the lightest pink shade that they have. That one I think is beautiful. It has the perfect amount of shimmer to where it's more of a blush lighter instead of like an intense highlight. And I really love that shade. So if you're able to find a good shade finish combo in this blush, then it's one of the best I've tried at the drugstore. And for highlight, I have to recommend the L'Oreal Lumi Le Glace Highlighter Stick. This is incredible. It really reminds me of the RMS Beauty highlighters that I am a huge fan of. It has that like soft, slick, balmy texture. It looks like literal glass on my cheeks, where it's that kind of sheer base with that pop of glow. It's just so pretty and somehow lasts all day. Moving on to mascara, several of my favorite mascaras are on sale. First is the L'Oreal Lash Paradise Big Deal Mascara, which out of all of these that I'm going to well, I'm acting like I have like 10 mascara recommendations. I have 3. Out of the 3 is the softest, most natural looking, because it's just a bit thinner on the lash. It's not super thick and voluminous, but I think looks really fluttery and pretty. I actually love combining it with this next mascara, which is my all-time favorite. As most of you are probably aware of at this point, it's the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. This one definitely packs more of a punch for volume, so I think again, paired with L'Oreal Big Deal, so gorgeous. And one of the best tubing mascaras I have ever tried, the Tartelette Tubing Mascara, is on sale, and they actually have this in black and brown. I can't remember if I had the brown formula for my my tubing mascara showdown. I posted that last summer. This was featured. Spoiler, it was very high on the list. And I'm spacing on the shade that I have, but I love a brown mascara, so I think I'll have to buy this. Moving on to lips, we have a couple of my favorite Maybelline lip products. First is their Lifter Liner, which I feel like maybe launched around this time last year. I feel like I was like just discovering how amazing it was when the Prime Day sale happened, because I remember talking about it and being like, this is unreal. These liners are soft and creamy, so they don't have that like really gross, dry, tuggy pencil feel, but they are so long lasting. It is kind of suspicious because they dry down like tacky, so they literally do not budge. I don't understand how that formula works. It makes no sense to me, but it's incredible. And the Maybelline Lifter Gloss, which has been a longtime favorite of mine, they actually just came out with some new shades and scents that I have been testing out and really enjoying, so I'm excited to see them expand that range. I don't think all of the shades are on sale for Prime Day, but a good number of them are listed. Next is the Milk Odyssey Lip Oil Gloss, which I just featured in a lip oil showdown where I tested and reviewed 40 lip oils. This one is definitely more gloss than oil. I would say it has a really nice creamy balmy texture that I really enjoy. It just feels soft, it feels conditioning, and I love that kind of formula paired with some sort of color on the lips. I feel like sometimes you have to kind of like sacrifice really beautiful color for not a super conditioning texture, but this is one of those rare options that gives you both. And last for lips was also featured in my lip oil showdown. It's the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Lip Oil, and it is absolutely amazing. It has a really unique texture. It's kind of like a melty, almost liquid lip mask. It's super nourishing for me, definitely one of the best in terms of how moisturizing it is, and it gets really nice and glossy and shiny if you build it up with a few layers, so one of my absolute favorites. Highly recommend. Last for makeup, tools. I have two different things I wanted to call out here. First, my all-time favorite beauty sponge, the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion sponge is on sale. I always like to stock up on this when it's on sale. I feel like I can never have enough of these. And I also got an email from BK Beauty saying that their full Amazon store will be 20% off during Prime Day. Oh wait, which one is this? And their best-selling A506 concealer brush will be 30% off. Oh, I have this. This brush is so good. I actually don't use this for concealer. I like to use it for eyeshadow because I love a really large brush like this that's like slightly fluffy, but like also kind of flat to just lay down a light color all over my lid up to my brow bone. And this is like the best brush I've tried for that purpose. I should try it for concealer too. I'm sure it's great for that, but that's like my favorite lid brush. That's exciting. And they said that they just added several more brushes to their Amazon catalog. So if you are a BK brush lover, or maybe you've been interested in testing them out, now's your time. All right, we are ready for the final category, which is hair care. Starting off with medicated shampoos, I have a few different recommendations here, some of my faves. Starting off with the CeraVe Anti-Dandruff Shampoo, which out of these three, I think that you will enjoy most if you have a normal to dry scalp. It's not something that's like overly heavy or creamy, but it does just have a bit more of a milky creamy texture than these next two options, and is like a bit more, how do I want to say this? It's just a bit more of like a normal cleanse versus something that's like really good for heavy duty oil removal. Next is the Neutrogena Scalp Therapy Extra Strength Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. This is a clear shampoo that does not have any creamy component like CeraVe, and it is something that's a little bit of a deeper cleanse, so definitely going to be better suited for you if you have an oily scalp. The main ingredient in this is 3% salicylic acid, so another thing that makes this great for oil removal. And I forgot to mention, but the CeraVe Anti-Dandruff Shampoo features 1% pyrithione zinc, which is also the active ingredient in my third and final medicated shampoo recommendation, Head & Shoulders Classic Clean. This is the shampoo that like honestly changed the health of my scalp because it introduced me to the world of medicated shampoos and how insanely helpful they are for scalp conditions that cause itching, scaling, flaking, irritation, for a girl like me who's prone to seborrheic dermatitis. And I feel like this one is better suited for normal to oily scalps. It gives you a bit of a deeper clean than CeraVe. So CeraVe normal to dry, I just blacked out. Head & Shoulders normal to oily, Neutrogena oily. Good God. If you don't feel like medicated shampoos are the right fit for you, you don't quite have like all of those concerns I just described, but you're just more so interested in shampoos that are focused on scalp care and have like skincare ingredients in them, the Dove Scalp Plus Hair Therapy range is really nice for that. They have both a clarifying and hydrating option. So clarifying is going to be better for normal to oily, hydrating normal to dry. They're formulated with ingredients like niacinamide, peptide, zinc, and glycerin. So really a focus here on hydration and nourishing and just promoting overall scalp health. And last for this subcategory is a little bit different because the primary focus is hair fall, but that's obviously something that is still really focused on the health of your scalp, and it's the Nioxin Hair Fall Defense System. So I have been recommending this leave-on treatment for the past couple of years now. It was previously called the Ultimate Power Serum, and they've recently renamed it to the Hair Fall Defense Treatment. But either way, it is the exact same product product that I've been recommending for a while for a couple different reasons. Number one, because of the technology that I learned about from them. Really impressive for helping to kind of tackle like the three main things that you should be tackling in a hair fall or shedding serum. So the technology stimulates your hair follicle, prolongs your hair growth cycle, and then also just keeps your hair rooted in the follicle for longer before prematurely shedding. And again, those are all of the main things that you want to be tackling or addressing when you are using something for the purpose of preventing excess shedding. So I was always really impressed by that, and it's the reason why I recommended that my sister-in-law use it a couple of years ago when she was worried about thinning and excess shedding, and she saw incredible results in using that serum. But more recently, they also launched a shampoo as part of this system with like the same technology in it, and unbeknownst to me, my mom bought it behind the scenes. She was experiencing severe shedding, like just really distressing amounts of shedding, where she said it was like all over her shower walls, on her pillowcase when she was getting up from bed. She felt like when she was putting a hat on to go for a walk that sorry, I've got hair in my eyelashes, that she could feel that her hats were looser, like she just was losing a lot of density and just was obviously stressed about it. So she decided to test out the shampoo for that because she said she saw really great reviews on Ulta. And I just get a picture from her one day of the shampoo, like, have you talked about this stuff? It's so amazing. I was like, kinda, like I've talked about that serum for a couple of years, but just not that shampoo yet. And she just was blown away by the reduction in shedding that she saw with that. So that is why I wanted to call that out in this video. Again, obviously I already was impressed with the technology, but I just feel like having these firsthand stories from people in my family just makes me even more excited about this. So of course, important to say, as always, see your dermatologist first if you have concerns about hair loss. Hair loss is incredibly complex. There's so many different causes, there's so many different forms, and because of that, there are different modes or methods of treatment that are recommended depending on what you're dealing with. But if you have already gone down that route and ruled out the things that you need to, then this is definitely something that I would recommend looking into if you are concerned with excessive shedding. Moving on to shampoo, conditioner, and or mask systems that I love. These are not things that you have to purchase as a kit. At least I don't think I'm seeing that, but because they're all part of the same system, I figured it would make the most sense to talk about them here. So first is the L'Oreal Professional Metal Detox Shampoo and Mask. This is always one of my top recommendations for those that struggle with hard water. I actually recently was listening to a hair lecture where they were talking about hard water and like how truly, I was gonna say impactful, but that's not the right word. How truly damaging hard water can be for hair, especially when it's already damaged or chemically treated. And the number one thing that they recommended to help with that was to use some sort of chelating system like this one. Next is also from L'Oreal, but their drugstore brand, not professional, and it's their glossing system. So you guys have seen me recommend their 5-minute lamination mask several times at this point. I absolutely love that stuff. I have gone through so many bottles of it. It's just so incredibly softening, smoothing, shine enhancing, unreal. It's the best hair gloss I've ever tried at any price point, and I've tried a lot of them. After they launched that mask, or maybe it was at the same time, and I just got it after, but they also came out with a glossing shampoo and conditioner. And it's interesting because they used to have a glossing system a few years ago that had purple packaging, but that one, the gloss was a spray and it was a totally different formula, whereas this gloss is that like liquidy mask. So they're not the same. It's kind of like they came out with a new and improved glossing line. And while I really enjoyed the original, I am even more impressed with this one. I love it. Why'd I whisper like that? And this is something I specifically wanted to highlight for those of you that tried systems like Dove Bond Strength and felt like it was just a little bit too much, a little too heavy, a little too flattening, sucked too much volume out, but you liked the idea of something helping to eliminate frizz, making your hair sleek and shiny. If that's the case, but you want something a bit lighter, then L'Oreal Glossing would definitely be worth looking into. I just love how it makes my hair look and feel. And it also has, of course, a completely different fragrance that I would say is like the other main complaint that I see about Dove, that a lot of people just don't love that fragrance, and I get it, fragrance is super personal. So L'Oreal Glossing smells delicious, but is also potent. So it's like, you're just gonna have to smell and see for yourself, but it's different from Dove. The glossing system is definitely more of like a floral fragrance, whereas Dove is more tropical. Speaking of Dove, one of my favorite systems from them is part of the sale as well. It's Intensive Repair, and it's their shampoo, conditioner, mask, and oil. Or I think they actually technically call that a serum, but it has an oil-like texture. I've also recommended this for that exact same reason that I just recommended L'Oreal Glossing, because it's a bit of a lighter option than Bond Strength, but obviously with Dove Intensive Repair, the focus is repair and damaged hair, and it's not so much on smoothing, shine, even though it still delivers those benefits. That's going to be for you if your main concern is damage repair. Whereas for glossing, it's not like you can't use that if you have damaged hair. It's just that repair is not the focus of the technology. Shine is, and I do get a shinier result with that. But both are amazing. It's really just up to personal preference and your hair type. And last is for those of you that want a higher end option for damaged hair, and that is Pureology Strength Cure. This is one of my longest favorites that truly stands the test of time. Through all of these new systems that I've tested and fallen in love with, this is one that I continue to recommend because it's so nice. This still makes my hair feel super soft, and the actual formulas are really nice and soft and creamy too, but I'm able to get a bit of a fluffier, more voluminous result with it. So if that's what you're after, but you still want damage repair and like that's the main set you want, then this would be the one out of everything I just recommended to look into. Moving on to rinses, treatments, and masks. I decided to put all those together to make a category. Is the Amika Smooth Over Frizz Fighting Treatment, which I told you guys I wasn't going to repurchase for myself, not because it's not good, but just because I feel like I don't have a need for it. However, it still is something that I recommend if you are looking for some additional smoothing, frizz fighting after everything you've used in the shower. So if you use a shampoo, conditioner, mask, or whatever combo there that you want to, and you're like, I still feel like my hair's a little frizzy. I still feel like I want it to be softer and smoother, but you want to add something that is super lightweight and not likely to weigh down your hair, then this could be a really good option to test out because it has a very light jelly-like texture. Another option for that is just a classic from the drugstore. It's the L'Oreal Wonder Water, and this is going to deliver similar benefits. It's also very lightweight. It has like a watery texture, and it's something that you can just soak on your lengths and ends to add some additional smoothing and shine. The OGX Bond Protein Repair Pre-Shampoo Treatment and Mask are on sale, and I really enjoy both of these. I love that they're very soft and creamy, but not overly thick and heavy. So I think that they're nice for those of you that don't want something that is maybe as light as like a Dove Intensive Repair conditioner or mask, maybe not as thick as like an Amika The Cure, but somewhere more in between while still delivering that damage repair benefit. Moving on to leave-in conditioners and heat protectants, OGX Bond Protein Repair. So their spray is also on sale, and this just changed everything for me when I first tried it. The way that this distributes product is unlike any other leave-in I've tried. It is the most perfect, fine, even continuous mist. Kind of like what I was saying about Bioma, but honestly, now that I'm thinking about the two together, even better. And the reason why I was so impressed with that is because I feel like it just made me realize how much other leave-ins are not like that, and the way that you apply your leave-in can make a massive difference in the results you get. Like spraying a leave-in that kind of shoots out in a small concentrated area is very different from something that has that wide, even spread. Like you're just naturally going to be able to cover a lot more hair that way. But the product inside the bottle is amazing as well. It's something that I think is like in between, so it's not the lightest or finest mist, but it's not my thickest and creamiest either. Two higher end options that are actually very similar to one another are Redken One United and Pureology Color Fanatic. Both of these brands are owned by L'Oreal, so it's not surprising to see that they have such similar formulas, but they're not identical. I would say that Redken is a little bit lighter and Pureology is a little bit creamier, but both of them are really amazing for detangling, conditioning, softening, etc. And last is Color Wow Dream Coat, which is my top recommendation if you're looking for the leave-in spray that's going to give you the glassiest shine possible. That one is actually the most lightweight out of all of them. I would say it's not quite as conditioning as the first three options, but it still conditions enough for me to detangle and add slip and protect. It's just one I feel like I'll always be impressed by. That shine, you can't lie, it's good. Moving on to oils, we have, let's see, two high-end options that I love, and then the rest are all OGX, of course. So the two high-end options are the Amika Superfruit Star Lightweight Hairstyling Oil and the Bumble and Bumble Hairdresser's Invisible Oil. Amika is the more lightweight option of the two. I don't think that Bumble and Bumble is heavy by any means, but it is just a little bit thicker than Amika. However, they're both great for adding softness, conditioning, detangling, shine, and heat protection. And for OGX, all of the coconut oils that I love are on sale. So the mist, the serum, and then just their classic miracle oil. And the way I just listed those is from lightest to heaviest. So the mist is a fine light mist, serum's in between, miracle oil's the thickest, and what you guys know I love to use as a pre-shampoo oil treatment. Their Bond Protein Repair 3-in-1 oil mist is also on sale, and that one is even lighter than the coconut oil mist. So if you have tried that and you're like, that still is just like a bit too much, I want something that is so fine that it's kind of just like a slight style finisher versus that kind of oil feel, then that would be the one to go for. And then their Argan Oil of Morocco oils are also on sale, and I think that those are great as well, and a good alternative for those of you that maybe don't like coconut or are allergic to it, because I sometimes will see comments like that. Can you guys hear the rain? Downpouring. The second to last category for hair care in this entire video is stylers. So I have some volumizers, some dry shampoo, a couple other things. I have two options for root volumizing or lifting sprays, an affordable and a higher end. The affordable option is the Dove Scalp Plus Hair Therapy Root Lift Spray. This one adds really great volume while also delivering those scalp benefits that I talked about with the shampoos that they have in that system. And the second is the Color Wow Raise the Root Thicken and Lift Spray, which not only delivers amazing volume, but also kind of absorbs some oil as well. So I feel like I get a little bit of a dry shampoo benefit from that one too. Next is the Aranco Grasp Intense Hold Shaping Balm, which I was introduced to from my stylist a couple years ago. She was kind of just testing it out, and I pretty much immediately fell in love with it because of how much it helped my style to hold without leaving my hair feeling super crunchy or stiff. It's a really great product for that. So if you are somebody that doesn't like using mousses or maybe like dry style hold products, this is one I would recommend for sure. And last for stylers is the TIGI. How do you even say that? Is it TIGI? Can't be TG. There's no way. TIGI, we'll go with that. Wax stick. This kind of product is still my top recommendation for smoothing hair up on top of your head and around your face. I just think it's so good for that because it not only smooths things down, keeps it in place, but it's also pretty weightless as long as you don't go overboard. Obviously, if you're like coating it on your hair, you're gonna have a problem. But otherwise, it's great. It gets the job done. You don't have to worry about like putting oil up there and then you have oily roots. Like, this is the way to go for sure. Last, hair tools. Both the Dyson Airwrap and Shark Flex Fusion are part of this sale. I would say like deciding on these really is just going to come down to the attachments, because I think that they're both great, and also on top of that, the level of heat that you want, because Shark Flex Fusion definitely gets hotter than Dyson. So if you want higher heat for a faster dry, then Shark would be the way to go. But use caution with that, of course. If you're using it on the highest heat setting really close to your head, that's obviously not going to be the best case scenario for damage. Otherwise, again, I feel like it really just comes down to the difference in attachments and what you're most interested in, because I think both are great options. It depends. And a couple of the Shark hair dryers are on sale, which I have always preferred over Dyson. Like when we're talking about just the standalone dryers, I get better results with Shark for sure. All right, you guys, those are my top picks for this year's Amazon Prime Day sale. I apologize if I was going through that a bit quickly, but I just wanted to make sure that we were able to get through every single item in a reasonable amount of time because we had a lot of items to get through. I'm thinking what I'll do for this sale is create an idea list for all of my top picks. That way you can just see everything laid out visually instead of just like a list of links in the description. So that is in the description box below for you. I'm really excited to hear which products you guys are most interested in picking up. Is there anything else that you're going to be buying during the sale that I didn't mention? Let me know. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this from me, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, click on that notification bell, and send my channel to a friend. Thank you so much for supporting my channel and doing those things. It truly means the world to me. Thank you for watching my videos. I love the freaking heck out of you guys. Make sure to stay tuned for my next one because that will be up not a week from today, but this Sunday, since we had to move a little bit for the sale. So technically 2 videos in this week. And until then, I hope you have a great rest of your week.